Alright, what's up? This is Greggatron. How's everybody doing? Happy Sunday. So, today's video, I'm going to show off my drawings from high school. I took art, but prior to me being in art, I always liked to draw. Ever since the Dragon Ball Z days. 3rd and 4th grade, Dragon Ball Z was really blowing up. And me and my friends, we used to draw a lot of that stuff in class when we had like playtime or whatever they called it. And I was addicted to drawing anime style characters ever since. All thanks to Dragon Ball Z. So I was going to show these drawings off a while ago, but I was like, let me do it now since Latin A and Callie, she said she wants to see him. So I'm like, all right. And eventually I'll probably show you my graphic novel since you're my girlfriend. Shout out. Sorry, chat tard. All right, let's flip this. So this guy, I called him Rollick Benson. He's the main character in the good book that I wrote, which I never finished. He's got the good jeans. I have this here because my name is there and I don't want to dox myself. I kind of got inspiration from Afro Samurai, but like modern day. But instead of him being a samurai, he's like a street fighter. And he was kind of like homeless and in between, and he was kind of a mess. But he would just go around and do what he thought was best to help people. The physique, where did I get the physique from? Some Rurouni Kenshin manga, I think. He's got the wraps. These are kind of significant in the book. Yeah. So that's the main character. Alright. And I didn't shade. I always hated shading. Alright. Next. This guy was not in the book, but still a character I wanted to make. He's some type of general. He's a leader. As you can see, he's giving an order. Got the good boots, the good pants. He comes with a sword. And notice his eyebrows, they're like the Nike symbol. I always loved making eyebrows like that. Yeah. Oh yeah. Zoom out. You see why I zoomed in, right? Because it looks so light if I zoom out. I think his name was Lee or something. This is Rachel. Rachel is a friend of Rollick Benson, and she helps him take down the bad guys. Because she provided him with transportation because he didn't have a car. And she provided him with the bandages when he busted up his fist by punching a bullet. She's like, "You punched a bullet? Are you crazy?" And his hand is bleeding. It was always hard for me to draw women because I made them look like men. So that's why her body looks I guess, mannish. And the face, too. It was always difficult for me to draw women. Alright, that's Rachel. Turn the page. This guy was another general type character. He's not in the book. Yeah. I gave him a good mustache. Real serious look. I like how he's losing his hair. Got the good shoulder pads. I did a little bit of shading, it looks like. The good trousers. A lot of the inspiration also was from Rurouni Kenshin. Right? He has long sleeves underneath his shirt. He's got the good sword. It almost looks like a lightsaber. As you can see, I was into swords even back then. I've been on swords. I like how I made his pants. That's cool. But I like the seriousness of his face. He kind of reminds me of a Clint Eastwood type of guy. Like if Clint Eastwood was a swordsman, that could be him. Or if they needed an actor to play him in real life, Clint Eastwood could be the actor. Maybe 15, 20 years ago. Because he's so old now. Alright, next. This guy. I don't think I had a name for him. But he was made to look kind of threatening and menacing. He's like a Canadian who lives in the forest somewhere. You know, he probably owns a log cabin or something like that. Never used him in the book. My plan was I was going to make multiple books with multiple stories and multiple characters. And then they would kind of just like branch out and meet each other and cross over. But then life happened. I was in college. I was working 1 or 2 jobs. So all that drawing kind of just... It was on pause, then I tried to start back, but then it was on pause for good. He's got real big hands, real big body. He's probably like close to 7 feet, it looks like. So this guy, he was in the book. I don't even have a name for the book that I wrote. His name was Rick. Rick Knight. Yeah. You see the eyebrows. He kind of looks like Tien Shinhan a little bit. And he ends up being an ally to Raleigh Benson. Once you see the story, you'll be like, oh, okay. It's like, okay, it's not... I'm almost like embarrassed to read it to you guys. But it's pretty good. For a teenager, or however old I was, it's pretty good. Alright, that's Rick. And then I noticed after the fact, a lot of the characters, their names started with R. Like Rollick, Rachel, Rick. This guy I'd never named, but he appears to be a bad guy. He's got the skull at the tip of the staff. I kind of got that from Skeletor. You know how Skeletor has that ram head? He's got the earrings. Again, the good eyebrows. Got the strong chin. The bell-bottom looking pants. I just loved making characters. Turn the page. This woman I just made just because she looks, her body looks more feminine, but her face still looks too masculine. Yeah, whatever weapon that is, I kind of made that weapon up. She looks like she could play like a Mortal Kombat character or something. Yep. Not too much going on with her. This guy is like a knight in shining armor. He's cool. I like the helmet, the expression. I kind of like how you can see his eyes, his expression through the helmet. Right. And then his suit has like the muscles showing on the outside. Kind of like the six-pack in Batman and Robin. How you could see it. Even though it wasn't their actual six-pack. Zoom out a little bit. Never gave him a name. And I like how I made his arms look different from each other. Fun. That's the beauty about drawing. You can just do whatever you want. So this guy, I got inspiration from the character Inishi from Rurouni Kenshin, the manga. Inishi was the bad guy in the last saga. But this guy here, I can't remember his name. But he was clean. He has some clean clothes. His pants kind of are like Raleigh Benson's pants. Got the good boots. He's kind of slender. As you can see, his shoulders look too low. So my art teacher, she made him look, she said they should be further up. So yeah, I used some of these for my sketchbooks in high school. And he's kind of got the Wolverine hairdo a little bit, but the glasses are clean, the sideburns are clean. He's got the good toothpick. So I was definitely proud of this character. Next. This guy has no name. And the inspiration for his look was kind of like the Joker. Yeah. Just looking crazy. Now you guys get to pick my brain a little bit. Oh, snap. He has a gun. He's got a gun. Yeah, man. But his finger is not on the trigger. He's got different pockets. All kinds of pockets. All right. See, I wanted to use him in a book because he looks like he'd be a sweet villain. Or even a anti-hero. Or maybe even the main character. He would have been good. Maybe I'll sell my characters for someone else to use. This guy, I got the inspiration from Scarecrow from Batman. Look at that. Look at how his eyes are like sewed halfway shut. That's like Wicked. You got straw poking out of his hat. Looks like straw coming out of his face. I love me some Scarecrow. Holy clothes all ripped up. Yeah. I kind of went all in on this one. Yeah. I always liked how Scarecrow looked all tore up. Because it made him look more scary. Alright, so that's my Scarecrow. This guy, I got the inspiration from Digimon. I took a Digimon card and I used the layout, or I guess the pose from a card to create this beast. Never gave it a name. Essentially, it's like a monkey fused with some type of gorilla or bear or something. When you look at the tail, it's got all kinds of zigzags. A lot of hair. It's almost like that character off Baki the Grappler, the Yasha ape. It's definitely some type of ape. Yeah, but his head looks like a pig's head. Well, actually, it looks like a wolf. It's like a wolf's snout with pig ears, a monkey tail, and a gorilla's body. Something like that. And then this part was going to be white. His actual color was probably going to be brown or something. Or maybe like a red. But yeah, I got the look, at least for the face, from Garurumon. What y'all know about that Digimon? Alright. This guy is another knight. Again, the good eyebrow, the good hair. He lost an eye in combat. He's a no-name warrior. He looks more futuristic, though, than some of the others. He's got the good gear. Yeah. Drawing was fun. This is from 2010. That's my junior year. Yeah, he's got a shield. Yep. Hope you guys like it so far. Let's see, who's next? Oh. This was like the faceless character. I liked him. Because you didn't really know what he was capable of. He reminded me of Rorschach. Almost reminds me of The Question. The Question has no face. And then he's got two mouths on his fists, on his gloves. So maybe I was going to make it so like this one. Come on. This one's smiling, right? And then the other one was like frowning. Yeah. Let me put this card here so I don't dox myself. You guys know my name is Greg. 5'5" from 2010. So, man, 2010. That's crazy. I really like his shoes. Really like the shoes. And I started shading a little bit. Yeah. That's why art was so fun, because there was just so much stuff you can continue to do. So much stuff you can continue to learn with perception and lighting and angles and negative space. And this guy has a big Adam's apple. But I really like the jacket and how he has no shirt underneath the jacket. So ever since childhood, I was drawing swole characters. All right. But I really like the boots. Next. So these guys, I kind of got the influence from gargoyles. But instead of them looking like gargoyles, they're like giant pigeon people. Essentially, this was supposed to be a whole planet of bird people. This is probably one of my greatest drawings, or at least characters. Yeah. But yeah, imagine a whole planet of people who looked like that. Like, this took me a while. Dang, that's good. That took me a while. And then his belly, or her belly, whatever it is. I had to make all kinds of dots. It's like a giant robin. And then their legs are kind of small. But their wings are huge. So there's one here too. You know when the gargoyles would wake up? That's kind of what I took this from. Like Rise and Shine. Yeah. And then I shaded the chest. It's like the older I got, the more I started shading. Alright. Then, speaking of gargoyles, I made my own man bat. He's hibernating. Yep. Getting some good rest. That's what I'm gonna do today. Alright, so this guy, this was the prototype, right? And this became this. So I think I got the inspiration from Cyborg 009, I think. But his head kind of looks like Astro Boy. But this dude was like a tank. Like Bionic Commando, but instead of the arm, his whole body is like that. You got steam and smoke shooting from his arm. You got a cannon coming out of the other arm. And steam. So he's got a blaster essentially on each arm. Got the good belt. I guess veins are popping out of his legs. Yeah. This was one of my favorites. If only. It's like today when I'm like, if I didn't have a job, you know how much I get done in the gym? That's how it was back then. Like, if I wasn't in school and if I didn't work, you know how much drawing I could have got done? Yeah. I like the shading on this guy. good shading. All right, let's see here. This guy I never finished. So this guy, his name was Hansa. Hansa. He is in the story. He plays as... essentially, he's one of the bad guys. I'll explain my comic book in a different video, since this one's getting long. But he's definitely one of the enemy. Yeah, again, look at the eyebrows. Look at the eyebrows. And then the hair, like the bangs right there. It's kind of like Sasuke Uchiha, kind of. But Sasuke's didn't come down that low. This thing here is some type of freak of nature. Like a Frankenstein project. He was probably once a human. I had no story thought out for this. I just knew I wanted to make some type of freak. He's probably gone through 100 surgeries to become this way. Forearm out of control. Looks like he has stitches everywhere. Tubes hanging out the arm. I don't know if this is a glove or if this is a part of his actual hand. But yeah, he's like a Weapon X experiment, it seems. He's like Kuma off of Afro Samurai. And you can see he's leaking. So it's like he just got out of some type of tub. Some type of apparatus. Or a tank. Yeah, like maybe he escaped. Yeah, he escaped the lab. Alright, this guy is in the book. I don't know if I gave him a name. If I did, I can't remember right off the bat. But he works with Hamza. And he's one of the bad guys. I don't want to call him henchmen, because they each have their own role, but he's definitely not the leader. We'll just put it that way. Yeah. Again, man, I took eyebrows and hair seriously. All thanks to DBZ. Next. So this guy, what was his name? I can't even think of it now, but so his daughter was murdered to get back at him because of some quote unquote potential shady business deals. I think it's because the bad guys got fired or they lost their job for whatever reason. And they just weren't having it. So they got back at him for revenge. So the story, the detectives and Rollick Benson and others, they're trying to figure out the connection between him and these scumbags. But it's like he wasn't going to be an angel either. There were supposed to be some secrets that were hidden as to why they lost their job or whatever. There was supposed to be a whole conspiracy. But I didn't get that far into the book. A few fights had broke out between Rollick Benson and the bad guys who killed his daughter. Because he's like a public figure. He's like David Xanatos or a Tony Stark type of guy. He's smart, but he's more of a businessman than like a Tony Stark. Yeah. All right, so this guy, he is the bad guy. He's the boss of the bad guys. And those other guys, Hamza, the guy with the spikes, they all worked in his department of research because they were building weapons. That's what it was. Oh, I remember now. So, okay, hold on. So, he was their boss, right? And their job was to build weapons that the military could use in combat. Something like that. The problem is the weapons they were building, they were using them for like personal use, or they were making them too violent or something. Something their boss didn't like. Oh, I think I remember now. So they had their orders to make specific weapons, but instead they used the funding to create something different. So then their boss, which is this guy, was like, this was not in the books. This was not in the blueprints. You weren't supposed to be making this type of stuff. Right? And then he's like, well, these weapons are better. These are more efficient. These can off more people quicker or whatever it was. And there's a big dispute between the two. So then this guy, he's like, your whole department is fired. Get out. And he's like, fired? You can't fire us. We've done good work here. And then he's like, I don't want to hear it, blah, blah, blah. You know, I wasn't about this. This is not what you signed up for. And he's trying to explain what we're doing is much more important than your little blueprints. So anyway, he got fired. Well, after they get fired, they like go to the underground. And they're like, well, we're not going to stop making our weapons. They had no funding. So they had to find ways to still make their product. So anyway, they ended up building their own warehouse, or they moved into some abandoned warehouse. I don't know how they got the funding, but they ended up making the weapons anyway. So the weapons, these are the weapons they use against my main character, Rollick Benson. Yeah, so this guy, he's not one of the henchmen, but I just figured I'd make him anyway. I never finished him, as you can see. He kind of looks like a biker. Yeah, he looks like he could be a Ninja Turtles character or something. Yeah, that's cool how I just remembered all that. That's funny. All right, now this guy, this is Rackus. He is one of the henchmen. Now I'm calling him henchmen. But it was him, it was Hamza, and it was the guy with the spikes. They were like the three bad guys who worked under the bald guy. So he's one of the people who got fired. Now you see these swords, these are some of the weapons that he had created, even though he shouldn't have been making them. So anyway, after they got fired, they took all their stuff. Or they took what they could, at least. But I'm sure security would have escorted them out. See, this is so good, like, it's almost like now that I'm an adult, I should rewrite it and have somebody else draw it for me. Because I can write some stuff. The problem is, I didn't know where the book was going. Because I would pretty much just make up stuff. Every time I draw, I would just make up more stuff as I went. And I think that's it. So, yeah. This all centers around him. And he doesn't like what he sees in the city, so he's trying to do something about it. Let's see here. Yeah, so that's the characters in the book that I wrote as a teenager. I think I might have even been into my early 20s writing this stuff. This is before I bought my apartment. I was still living with my parents when I wrote that stuff. Yeah, and I didn't get an apartment until I was like 21, 20, 21. So I would have been like 18. Well, some of those drawings I was still in high school, but some of those guys I drew after high school. So yeah, Latin A and Cali, that one's for you. Let me know what you think. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.